Alright, so we're back with more Attack on Titan. Today we're doing Season 3, and if you want to know my thoughts on the previous two seasons, go watch those videos. They're going to be probably linked at the end of the video, or there'll probably be a card for you to click on. Go watch them. If you really want to know what my thoughts were about the previous two seasons, they're there. And you're probably wondering, why is this part 1 of 2? Well, because Season 3 decided to go ahead and do its season in 2 parts. I'm going to go ahead and do the review in 2 parts. I just thought it would be interesting that we would get my thoughts about the season halfway through, kind of like how the season went halfway, and then we would continue on with part 2 of the season. I just think it would be fun and it would be different. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get straight into things. So because so much happened in Season 3, Part 1, I'm going to go ahead and just start off the video and say some of the most basic stuff about this season that you should probably know, and that the production was done once again by Wit Studios. They did return for Season 3 to be able to do the animation and the overall production, and I obviously think they did a pretty good job. Honestly, a very good job, considering that they've now done this for 3 seasons, and the fact that the animation and the quality and the production of all of it is still very, very consistent, even though it's a seasonal anime, is very good. They're doing a very good job, and I'm glad that they have been doing as good of a job as they could, because the show didn't look good all the time, then it would honestly be very disappointing, obviously. And then, of course, Hiroyuki Sawano, of course, returned to do the score for Attack on Titan Season 3, and honestly, Attack on Titan wouldn't have felt as grandiose and big if it wasn't for Sawano's score, so I'm glad that he has returned, and I'm hoping that he also returns for Season 4 whenever I get around to finally watching it. Without pretty much talking about the production and the score, let's get into what the actual plot of Season 3 actually is, and the whole basic grandiose plan of what this first half of Season 3 is about the government trying to capture and take control of the Survey Corps and get them away from what's actually the plan and what was supposed to be going on since kind of the very beginning with Historia and her importance and what her bloodline is and the importance of that as well. And essentially what the importance behind Historia is mostly around her name and her bloodline, which is that of the Reese family. Rod Reese is the true king of that within the walls of all the people in there, and yada yada yada. But basically, there was someone within the family of the Reese family, Uri, who had the ability to be able to erase people's memories, and essentially what happened after that point, as well as him being able to turn into a Titan, is that he was treated like a god, and they created this whole plan for erasing the memories of that of humanity and society as it is, and have them be controlled and worshipped and be slaves to that of the Titans. That was essentially the plan that they were trying to create, and the way that they were going to do it was by having Historia eat Eren, and the reason for that was because Uri was eaten by Frida, which is Historia's sister, and then later on, essentially after the Colossal and the Armor Titan attacked Shiganshina, that district within one of the walls, Eren's dad, Dr. Jaeger, went over to where they were. He turned into a Titan because he can also turn into a Titan. That was also revealed. He ate Frida, gained her powers, and then had a serum that was able to turn Eren into a Titan. And then he allowed Eren to be able to eat himself, so that way Eren could get the powers of what his dad has, of what Frida has, being able to control Titans, be able to erase people's memories, and this and that. It's basically following along with the whole grandiose plan of what Dr. Jaeger has, which at this point we still don't really know what he has planned and what he has in store for the overall plot, but I imagine this is going to get explored much more. Probably the 4th season. I wouldn't say that it's going to get set into our minds what his plan actually was in the second half of Season 3, but like the main focus of Season 4 is probably going to be mostly centered around that in particular, and the reason why he gave Eren the type of powers that he has in the first place. And so that's basically the whole plot synopsis of the first half of Season 3. The whole plot is Rod Reese has hired a whole bunch of people, one of them being Kenny the Ripper, who was revealed to be an Ackerman, and the Ackermen were known for being the only people who were resistant against having their memories erased, and it's also then revealed that he is Levi's uncle, because now Levi is also now then revealed to also be an Ackerman. And a couple other plot points are centered around them as well, like the fact that they're able to suddenly get like a boost in power and like out of nowhere, and it was already revealed that they kind of had something special around their bloodline with Mikasa in the first season. And basically the whole point was they were trying to get Eren and Historia, so that way Rod Reese can turn Historia into a Titan and have Eren be eaten by her. That was the whole plan, and one of the biggest ways that they were supposed to be able to do this was by having the assistance of the government. And ultimately, the whole plan is to have the government overthrown through a coup d'etat by the military, which everyone had set up and created this whole grandiose plan that was done in a specific way that was honestly really cool. And I actually really enjoyed like the plot twist that they had set up and kind of like the way that they outsmarted these people and like this false king who's not even really all that important. He's just there to be there and be a figure for people to look up to for the time being. And then later on, after that point, it was supposed to go after and save Historia and save Eren, because Eren's whole focus is to eventually get to Wall Maria and the Shiganshina district to be able to seal up the hole that's in Wall Maria so that way they can take back that area, and eventually they're gonna have to fight Reiner and Bertolt, and they need Eren's Titan powers in order to be able to do it. But of course, after it's revealed that his dad did what he did and that they were supposed to be the ones that have that power, it was supposed to be Frida, it was supposed to be Historia after that point, he actually ends up deciding that he wants to get eaten because it's supposed to belong to someone else that was supposed to have that, someone special was supposed to have that. And the entire time after it's revealed, Eren just kind of has this self-doubt about himself, and I was honestly really enjoying that aspect about season 3. Is the whole time throughout the first 2 seasons, he really feels like that the powers that he has and the abilities that he's been given, without really realizing that he was given these abilities, he thought that they were his on his own and that he somehow managed to be able to get these, and he thought he was special in a unique way, but it turned out he wasn't really all that special at all. It turned out that he was given these abilities, given these powers, and there was never really anything special about him at all. Meanwhile, you have other people like Mikasa and Levi and Erwin and all these people who are special in their own unique ways. It frustrated Eren that he wasn't really special all that much, and he had to be the way that he was. He decided that maybe it wasn't better that he was around at all anymore. Then of course he realizes that he is the only one who has the ability to do what needs to be done. He is the most important person right now in the entirety of the world right now. He has all the powers to be able to do what's necessary, and by the end of the season, he pretty much masters his ability to be able to use his hardening ability, which is why it's cut into 2 halves, and the second half is going to be where they're going towards Wall Maria and sealing up that hole that's within that wall. So obviously we have a couple of more things that happen within the season that I'm not obviously mentioning right now. Like we have a couple small moments of character moments between certain people. There were 2 people that Annie was close with when she was in the military or the police brigade, and they actually ended up joining alongside with the Survey Corps, because something I also really liked as well is that the people within the walls and the people within this whole society, they're not stupid and they're not blindly following people. If they see injustice and if they see that someone is doing wrong, then they're going to go ahead and change sides, as normal people would also do as well. And these 2 people who Annie knew in the first season when she was in the police brigade, I don't really know their names, I don't really remember them that much. They end up deciding to join into the Survey Corps, or at least siding with them for the time being and not officially being a part of them, of course, because laws and stuff. I just liked how they had a change of mind and realized that something wrong was happening and that they needed to make sure that the right people needed to be able to win this. And I like how a sudden shift was happening within these people, within these characters. Even if we're not going to see too much of them, I like how it happened regardless. I like a couple other moments as well, like when Kenny and his team were going after Levi and the rest of the Levi squad. I really liked the moment where Armin does what's necessary and he has to kill someone in order to save, I think it was John or Jean, however you want to pronounce his name. I really liked the moment like afterwards when he realizes what he did, and it heavily affects him because obviously he's never done anything like that before, and the whole point of them being in the Survey Corps was to annihilate Titans and get rid of them so that they're able to not have to fear about them as much. And then he ends up killing a person. That wasn't what they were assigned to do. That wasn't what they were joining alongside for. They weren't joining to kill humans. They were joining to eliminate the threats of Titans. And ultimately him having to kill a person changes him for the long run. He's an entirely different character after this point, and I really enjoyed that aspect about just this one little small moment that happens. And I think it's necessary because I think him doing this is really going to change it for the long run, and he's not going to be the same character as he was before. But I really like that. A couple of other characters got a little like small interactions, but they don't really change all that much. Just characters like Sasha and Connie and John, you know, they are there in the background, and although they interact with the main cast, they don't really change all that much, which isn't really the problem because they're supposed to be the supporting cast and they're like not the main focus. But I like these characters and I would like to see them, you know, develop and grow and, you know, change over time. Even though it's probably gonna happen regardless because it's only been what they said in the show was like 4 months since they had joined and gotten out of the cadet corps. But you know, I would like to see these characters change in specific ways, but it's not really that big of a deal. I think the only thing I would really like to mention is how at the end of season 3, or in the first half of season 3, is the way that they ended it off with Aaron's mom in that one line that she said about her son. That really resonated with me a lot because I feel like it really makes sense for someone to say this and mean it in this specific way. And considering what happened in my own personal life, I think it probably resonated with me a lot more than I thought it was going to. And basically she just says that she doesn't really care of her son being special in a specific way. She doesn't really care about that. What she does care about is that he's alive, and that's what makes him special. Him being alive is the best and most special thing that could ever happen to him. Even in the world that they had lived in, which is filled with these giant humanoid looking creatures that are eating people. That was the most important thing to her, and that's what she thought made her son special. And I really liked that line a lot within the episode that it was done in, which is like the episode before the finale of the first half. And like the only other thing I really liked about the season was also the ending, like the finale of the first half. Although I really liked this whole first half in general, I thought it was really good. There were a lot of moments that really surprised me. I really liked the finale for the first half just because some really dark shit is about to happen in the second half for season 3, and I think it makes sense for them to kind of be all laid back and relaxed and not really think about what they're supposed to be doing in like the next day, and they just get a moment to themselves to be able to think about small stuff and just enjoy themselves and have fun, you know, even beat the shit out of each other like Jean and Aaron did within the episode, which I thought was really funny. It was just a whole episode full of laughs, and I think that it kind of needed an episode like this, considering what had been happening for the past like 2.5 seasons. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun. But other than that, that's kind of the whole thing that happened within the first half of season 3. I don't think really that's all that much to really have to say about it. It was animated really well. The score was really good. The writing was really good. Characters have their own specific unique moments. The action is super good. Plot twists are there. The whole thing with Rod Reese and the government was really interesting, and I liked how they expanded upon this plot point that was set up in the second season, because my main criticism about the second season was the fact that they set up all these plot points but they don't really do anything with them. But now we have this first half of season 3 where they're actually expanding upon one of those plot points finally, and I think it was set up and executed in a specific way that I thought was really good. We have other moments that I also have neglected to mention until right now, that Historia doing the killing blow on Rod Reese in his Titan form, which looks disgusting in like the best way possible, and I kind of love it for that. I think her dealing the killing blow to Rod Reese in his Titan form, there's kind of a double meaning to it because they kind of needed her to do it in a specific way for the people in the society and the walls that they live in, for them to be able to back her up when she eventually becomes queen, which she does end up becoming queen. But I think her, like, sentimentally, you know, getting rid of the last connection to her family is what really needed to happen. Even though her last name will always be Reese, she'll always be known as Historia Reese. I think her finally distancing herself from the Reese family and what they were trying to do was something that needed to happen for the character, so I really like that. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about season 3. There's not really a whole lot for me else to say. I thought it was really good overall for the first half. The second half is going to get much more interesting because during the finale of the first half, they showed a preview of something huge fucking happening. I don't know what happened, but something happened, and it kind of freaked me out when I saw it. I don't know what's going to happen. Whenever I eventually get around to reviewing the second half is when I'm eventually going to learn and going to be able to talk about it. But all I really want to know right now is what's in that fucking basement. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want more, subscribe. I'll see you guys next one. Have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.